Hey, this is Andrew from AJS Woodworks, and in this video I'm replacing the spark plugs on a 2019 Cadillac Escalade ESV with the 6.2 liter engine. I'm going to be replacing my spark plugs with the factory GM AC Delco spark plugs. I'll put a link in the description below so you can purchase these, and any purchases through that link will support my channel. But you're going to need 8 of these spark plugs, and they come in a 4-pack, so just keep that in mind. The first thing you'll need to do is come up under the dash here and pop your hood. Then you can open it up here, locate your spark plugs, which are conveniently located here. They have a small heat shield around them, and then you have your spark plug wires that connect into them there. You can inspect your spark plug wires and make sure that they all look good, but you'll need to remove all 4 spark plugs here. And same on the other side, all 4 spark plugs down here, which are a little bit harder to get to than the driver's side. All right, so the first thing you want to do is disconnect your battery. But the next thing you can do is take a pair of long needle nose pliers, or you can get the clamp pliers as well, and start to pull out your spark plugs. And then they'll just pull off straight off of the spark plug, just like that. So then you'll just continue to remove the next 2 boots on this side, and then we'll move over to the next side. So it's much more difficult to get the spark plugs out of this side than it is to get it out of the driver's side, but it is possible. So I just pulled this one out like I did on the other side. The next one, you have to get some leverage. So I just took the pliers and clamped on and then pushed this way. That gives you the leverage that you need to pop it out. Now the final one, and then the next one's fairly easy as well. The final one, I had to get up underneath the vehicle. And if you look here, you have kind of a straight shot up to where that spark plug is. And I ended up having to just pull it out with my hands. But you can reach pliers up there. So that one is a little bit more difficult, but there is a little passageway up here between the exhaust. So if your arm is small enough or you have a long enough tool, you can reach up from the bottom. But if you have a long enough tool, you may be able to get some leverage from up here to get that last one out. All right, now we can remove the old spark plugs. For that, you're going to need a 5/8 inch spark plug socket, or just a deep well socket. This is a Cobalt specific spark plug socket that has a magnet in there. Really just a deep well 5/8 socket, but if you have a spark plug socket, that makes it more convenient. I loosened up this one already, but it does help to have a small breaker bar or extension for your wrench. Don't force anything, because the last thing you want to do is strip out your heads. Go. Take out the old spark plug here. It's got some good use. We'll move on to the next one here. I have this small extension to help. Just get a little extra torque. You shouldn't need a whole lot of extra torque on these spark plugs because they should only be torqued down to 15 foot-pounds. Now I've got all the spark plugs out of this side. We'll go ahead and remove the ones out of the other side, and then we'll start installing the new ones. All right, so before installing the new spark plug, which I have here, you can compare it to the old one. It's slightly different, but they have changed the spark plug part number and recommendation now for the Escalade. So they have just new, slightly different spark plugs for it that still fit it. But the gap is important to check on your spark plugs. And so I'm just gonna compare the old to the new. If you look in your owner's manual, you can see the recommended gap The range I think is like 0.95 to 1.1. So I'm just going to use the spark plug gap tool, and I'll just use the 1.02 wire setting. I'm just going to check the new one here. You can see that the wire fits right in between, kind of catches just a little bit there, but slides in and out. We'll check the old one to see if it's similar. And it is. It catches a little bit but slides in and out. So that should be a good range. It'll be pretty much exactly what we had before. And of course it falls within the range of the manufacturer recommendation. So you just want to check all 8 of your spark plugs the same way that I just did by using your spark plug gap tool. Of course, if you don't have a spark plug gap tool, you can get one similar to this on Amazon. And the wire ones like this are supposedly one of the most accurate, rather than using one of those little coins from AutoZone or Advanced Auto Parts or something like that. These are a little bit more accurate. So whenever you're installing a new spark plug, always hand tighten it first, and then you can tighten it with a wrench and a torque wrench. You never want to use an impact driver or a wrench at first, because there's a propensity to strip the threads if you do that. And if you do that, you got to replace the whole head or get a helicoil, and nobody wants to do that. So hand tighten it, and then we'll tighten it the rest of the way. All right, now that I have all of the new spark plugs in and hand tightened, now it's time to torque them down. And for that, I have this EWK torque wrench. It's a digital torque wrench. It's fairly small. It's a little bit thick though, which is kind of unfortunate for some smaller spaces. But you'll need to torque it down to 15 foot-pounds. So we'll just adjust that to 15. And then we'll put our socket on there and we'll torque them all down. If you need a digital torque wrench or need a torque wrench just in general, I'll put a link in the description below so that you can purchase this. Once again, if you purchase through the link, a small percentage of whatever you purchase will support my channel. All right, I don't know if you could hear that or not, but it beeps, a solid beep whenever you hit your torque that it's set to. And while I'm on this side, I'm gonna go ahead and put the boots back on as well. All you have to do is basically slide it on until it clicks back into place. And I always give it a good pull to make sure that it doesn't come off easily. Then we'll do the same on the passenger side and we'll be done. All right, now that you got all the boots on both sides, the job is done. All right, we'll start it up and make sure it runs. So it's running nice and smooth, as you can hear. And of course, this is part of the 97,500 mile maintenance schedule. And I'll put together a video of the rest of the maintenance schedule here soon, and make it into a playlist so that you have everything that you need to know for maintaining your Escalade. Some people do have questions about whether you need to do dielectric grease and whether you need to put that on the spark plug or in the boot. You don't really want to put it on the spark plug. The manufacturer doesn't recommend it. They just recommend putting it in the boot to help with moisture, but don't put it on the spark plug. You can put Loctite on your spark plugs to prevent it from shooting out of the engine, but technically if you tighten it down to torque specs, then you should be okay. I hope you found this video helpful. This has been how to replace the spark plugs on a 2019 Cadillac Escalade ESV with a 6.2 liter V8. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Of course, all of the parts that you need will be linked in the description below. And of course, any tools that you'll need will be linked there as well. I hope you found this video helpful. Thanks for watching.